Back with Dead Rising Shop Till You Drop. I just finished up the last part of Case 1. So I think what I need to go do is talk to Otis. So I had this theory, which is I think what it is, if I talk to Otis, I can do those missions. But if I go in here, then that will just advance whatever it is. I guess the next case file. It seems a little weird that you could go straight into the next one since there's supposed to be some time. I figured I want to go do every single little mission just because I wanted this to be a preview of what the game is. So I feel by leaving stuff out, it's just really hampering it. Oh my gosh, I can't see at all in this darkness. I don't know if it's just me having all these lights on, some setting on the Wii, or the fact it's on a 4K monitor, but it's really dark. Which I think might just be a side effect of it being a standard television game, because I'd always heard that people say that the mall in Dead Rising 1 was very dark. And I never understood that, because for me, in the mall at night, everything's pretty clear. I guess maybe there's some areas in the maintenance tunnel, but I would see people post saying, I can't see anywhere. I can see like 5 feet in Wonderland Plaza. And that didn't make sense to me. Even if I went and I like adjusted the settings, even then it seemed like they must be over exaggerating, but I think it's just if you're running on a standard def TV, that's just the case. So we're gonna go over here and I'm going to get Ronald, which normally this scoop is you have to go bring him food and it'll actually despawn all the food around here until you do. I don't know how it's gonna work. I assume I just need to give him some food from my inventory. What it is I have to escort him to Colombian Roastmasters, and then he will get food there for me. If I call this is actually a very easy scoop. Okay, so he wants a steak. So I'm guessing there should be a steak in here, and he wants me to cook it. Oh no, I just have to literally get it for him. I thought for sure that this is gonna be like, you can cook things, but I guess it's cooked for you. And I'm guessing if they don't have that, they also don't have the mechanic where stuff will spoil. Now he's actually in my party. I wish I could say what the actual reasoning is for why they have all these random additions. I believe it's to just shrink the playable space. And particularly like these make a little more sense because it makes the area more linear. It makes it a longer path. Because if you could run straight through, I'm guessing it would be way easier than they intend. Whereas here, I have to essentially backtrack because of these things. I believe that's just to give it a little more difficulty to the case file. But yeah, I can talk about this before. It seems that the poodles were, I'm guessing, a late edition or something, because they're just bad enemies. Like the parrots, you can still hit. They make it awkward to hit, but you can still hit them. So I feel like they're an okay enemy. Plus, they're basically made to be shot with a gun in the air. Like a shotgun works super well against them, and they don't have a ton of health. But the poodles are just kind of there. And I think they are going to be replaced after I finish the next case file with another enemy that's unique to Chop Till You Drop. But I said this before, I think this game, you have to think about it, it's like, it's not really meant to be a balanced sandbox as much as it's about the journey from point A to point B. So stuff like those poodles appearing and disappearing suck, but it does make the individual journey easier. So what I kind of mean by that is you notice that they don't really let me prepare. Like they don't let me hold a ton of different foods and such, or ammo, but basically every other zombie drops ammo. So as long as you're kind of using it every so often, it's not too bad. So, and I think the idea is the same thing where like, you always have ammo, you're never in an actual drought. This is the one with Simone. So Simone's already bitten. And normally you couldn't do this scoop unless you had done the story because it happens on day 3. And specifically in the original game, you need Isabella to have joined you. So that Frank can say, oh, well, I know a nurse that can take care of you and she knows about this virus. And then Simone will come with you. But in this one, I have to essentially talk to her. She will refuse. Then I go through a loading screen, leave the area, I hear a scream, and then she's like, wait, come back. And then you can get her. Which, in a way, it does feel very Dead Rising, where you just kind of have to fail it the first time, usually. And after that, you just know it. Like, Dead Rising is all about knowledge, in my opinion, rather than, say, execution of player skill. But on the other hand, this is super clunky because you just have to physically walk away. and walk straight back, and there's 2 loading screens for that, and it's just kind of, come on, lady. One thing that'd be interesting is if, I know in the original Dead Rising, like, a lot of survivors will react if you point a gun at them, and it wouldn't work in this game, but it'd be interesting to see if that could actually affect choices. I don't actually know if I can even hurt survivors. Like, oh, she won't come, but if you ask her again with the gun pointed at her face, maybe she will. I was hoping that when I do that heavy attack, it would at least be something cool, like maybe I could swing the Wiimote in a very specific direction. Like, oh, I could do an up slash with my knife or a side slash. Because that's one thing that I had actually really hoped was going to be an option with the Wii version, is the ability to control how you swing things. It's like, it would be a little tough because certain weapons would stop on a zombie, like a lead pipe. You can't swing through a zombie like you could a sledgehammer. But still, it would be really nice where there's a lot of weapons in the game that are, generally speaking, pretty good weapons, but they're just limited by their moveset. It reminds me of Dark Souls a lot, actually. Things like the lead pipe is a good example where it's a great weapon, and I definitely would recommend it, but it is limited by the fact that you can only hit 1 zombie at a time. So it's not great for crowds, since you basically have to hit 1, 3 more come over, you hit another one, and they start hitting you, and it's hard to get ahead.